Hello and welcome to another episode of Learning to Draw. And this is the second part of Mark Crilley's How to Draw Hands. And last time I finished the first way, the first method he proposed. And now I'm going to move on to the second method.
Top to this, it almost, to me, looks a little like the roof of a house, the way this comes back, and this is going to be the base of the palm. The hand is actually reaching down the way I'm drawing it in this position, so it's going to be kind of the opposite of what we drew a moment ago. Once you've got that shape in place, you can move on to drawing the fingers, and this is going to be a bit tricky. I'm going to start by drawing the pinky coming down off this side of the hand, more or less straight up and down. And once you've got that in place, you can draw the pointer finger. Now notice that this line coming at this angle, the pointer finger is coming off just a little bit. Just pointing in just a slightly different direction. And although the finger breaks into three joints, or divides itself into three joints, I find that when people are drawing a feminine hand, they don't want to get into the details of drawing each one of those individual joints, and more often than not, they'll sort of have it break into what appears to be just two. Now, looking at these two, you can make a kind of a curving line if you want to. I'm kind of down near the end, the bottom of my... Let me refocus the camera. Sorry about this. Okay, so you can draw a curving line here, and then a second curving line coming off the pinky. And the two of them are sort of intersecting right about here, a little closer to the pointer finger. And at this point, that's where you can go ahead and put that pointer finger in there. Again, I'm sort of breaking it into two parts rather than three. Of course, if you're drawing an absolutely realistic hand, you're going to have to draw each one of those individual joints. But I'm kind of trying to show you here a more of an elegant, slightly stylized way of drawing a female hand, which you see a lot in comics or even fine art. This way of the hand to look.
Well, I certainly
very elegant.
doubt my hand's going to look anything
this finger is just a little
like
shorter,
elegant, but
than the one next
I managed to find a sharpener.
We've got these
so
in place. We
my
can
pencil
go
is
ahead
in a
and
slightly
start to
better
put the
shape,
thumb
though
in.
not the best
The
at
thumb
sharpening
is going
either,
to be
it
coming
seems.
off from this
Looks like
point
it's lopsided.
and curving outward like that. So I'm going to just get a curving line like this. And then at this point, we can get the other part of the thumb. It can be tricky to know how long to make the thumb. I think in this particular pose, it's not much longer. The distance here is not much longer than that of the pinky. But you're not. This area right here is not the whole thumb. As you're going to see, it curves back or continues back here, and then this indication of the base of the thumb curves back here until it trails off right around that first line that we drew there. And we're getting close to having everything in place that we need. I'm not going to be shading this one in to the degree that I did the other one. Like I said, this is more sort of stylized. I'm going to begin to draw the wrist, the top of that sort of the roof of the house, I guess I was calling it. That's where the lines of the wrist are going to come off. For the female hand, you want the wrist to not be too thick, not too masculine looking. And that's pretty much it. Let me go ahead and do some time lapse for adding the final lines. You're not going to see nearly as much shading though, so hopefully we'll be done with this pretty quickly. Okay, well, there you have it, my little video on drawing the human hand. Consider this the first of many videos on this subject. Of course, you have to study the anatomy of the human hand, but also it doesn't hurt to have little tricks like these that I showed you here for getting the lines in the right place. Let me go ahead and
I think my thumb actually looks quite good, unlike my fingers. Well, there we have it. I feel like my shading makes everything worse. It looks like just a load of jagged lines all over the place, so that's something I'd be interested in improving right away. Because it really doesn't improve anything, does it? But if you'd like to watch my next video, I'd appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this, and see you next time.